Hi, my name is Scott, and I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but I used to be a part of the Los Angeles Anarchist community for many years ago. I used to do Food Not Bombs, and I worked with the Los Angeles Anarchist Black Cross, and the Jericho movement, and a few other things. I was mostly radicalized by Food Not Bombs and worked with them in many different chapters around Southern California for many years. And I used to work with Jay in playing in a band with Resist and Exist for many years, and we used to put on a lot of shows together with an old organization called the AGC, Alternative Gatherings Collective. It was basically a collective of punks putting on punk shows that were a little more than your average sort of rock out, but more like educated. Your toe hurts. What's wrong with your toe?
And you also used to be a school teacher?
Yeah, I used to teach high school in the LA public schools, and this is my daughter Kira. And we used to teach that thing. I used to teach with Jay at the Los Angeles Leadership Academy, graphic design, middle school in the charter school in the LA public schools.
So also, what do you think about the Los Angeles Anarchist Bookfair? It's 2010.
The Los Angeles Anarchist Bookfair is
the year
awesome.
2010.
There are so many old faces here and new faces that I've never met before, and just energy and enthusiasm and community that is beautiful.
How are things different from 10 years ago?
I think that the crowd is far more diverse than 10 years ago. Not only is everyone not so just 20-something punk rock, but it's also become more diverse, like not only age-wise but ethnically, and the fact that there are children here and there are families and there's childcare really shows that the anarchist movement is sort of is embracing a much wider group of people.
And we have more school teachers, we have activist lawyers, community organizers.
Yeah, being an anarchist isn't
we didn't have that back then.
A young punk rocker, who's pissed off. There's a whole lot of people out there that are, that are working in education, that are working in, all kinds of places. So.
You have two kids, and sometimes a lot of people drop off the movement because they have kids and stuff. Any advice for that?
I think that the reason why people drop out of the movement is because there's no place in the movement for them. The movement doesn't value the input and participation of people who have families and have those kinds of responsibilities. People with family have a hard time, making meetings every week or whatever. So there has to be people there to help them, like with childcare or whatever it is. There needs to be a community that supports that. So I think that my sense is that's growing.
You also bought a house in Pittsburgh. It's a co-op house?
No, not exactly. I mean, we live cooperatively, but we own the house, so it's not cooperatively owned. So that's a challenge in Pittsburgh because there's so much space out there and there's so many people. It's cheaper to own a house than to rent a house. And so cooperative living is one thing, but then cooperative ownership is sort of that next step that hasn't really been quite figured out in Pittsburgh yet. But yeah, I look forward to doing that.
What do you do in Pittsburgh?
I work in a nonprofit collective called Free Ride, and it's basically a bicycle mechanic shop, and I teach kids. I work with kids on how to fix up bikes, and we get kids to sort of refurbish bicycles and fix them themselves so that they have some transportation.
Do you miss Los Angeles?
I miss Los Angeles a lot.
All right, thank you for the neighbor. We miss you too.
Cool.